All right, Gary Downs speech. No card number 1. No card number 2. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
The phrase back in my day is usually reserved for older people that have a discernible difference between the social norms when they were growing up and today. This is usually with decades or generations in between, but not so much anymore. Social media and the technology age has ramped up how fast young people are being exposed to the world and what kind of world they're being exposed to. My name is Gary Downs Jr. and I study psychology at Columbia College, and it is my personal opinion that families are under attack and social media is having a negative influence on our young people. So the purpose of this speech is to motivate you, to educate you and motivate you that if you see something, say something as far as the young people and their actions that you see out in the world today. As I mentioned, I believe that these actions from young people are mainly based on two things: the traditional family unit being under attack and the impact of social media. According to Child Trends, 2-parent traditional households are on the decline from 88% to 68% from 1960 to 1996, with African American children being 2 times as likely to not live in a 2-parent household anymore. Cohabitation is up. That's being in the same house but not being married. Same-sex, single parents, and no-parent households are also on the rise. Impact of dual incomes and the financial requirements of certain families have impacted the family dynamic, and without both parents being home, that allows more time for distractions, and it erodes that family unit that I talked about. And the reason why this is important is because everything starts at home. Jimmy Gitling is the president of Baltimore Principals Union for the Baltimore schools, and he says, quote, "How does a principal make a child come to school? I don't care if that child is in the 3rd grade or in the 12th grade, it lies in the hands of home." That's why the family unit is so important. Another thing is the impact of social media. Facebook depression is now a clinical disease. It is now an actual medical term from Facebook, and Facebook was only created in 2004. So not that long ago. According to an article by Rebecca Rosen, 59% of young people say it shapes who they are, being social media. So very influential. The impact of this in society is staggering. The 20% reduction in a 2-family traditional household that I talked about a minute ago, 20% of millions of people. This impacts millions of families throughout our country. According to a 2003 research report by Sackett and Maver, in general, young people are giving less importance to finding a purpose in life and more importance to having lots of money and reaching status. That goes back into the narcissism of being in Facebook and being a me-only perspective that a lot of our young people are getting exposed to. We're replacing values with money by that last quote, and even our schools are starting to lower the standards for our kids. Some literally have given out grades to adhere to the No Child Left Behind statute, according to Bowie in Richmond. Some schools are literally passing some kids through without a quality education just because their funding and their numbers are impacted if they don't. It's not a good thing. So what can we do as everyday citizens? You've probably been out in society, out in public, and seen people either looked a certain way or acting a certain way. I implore you to address these people when you see the action. One of my favorites is I've seen young people walk in the streets to cross the street, but not with any sense of purpose. Meaning, if a car is coming, they walk slower just because they think it's cool, not knowing that if that driver's not paying attention, is reaching down to grab something, has been drinking, whatever the case may be, it only takes one time to be wrong. And these kids are not understanding this. So I implore you to take the action that if you see something, say something. In the case of Nina Asante, she witnessed 2 boys in a Walmart trying to steal deodorant, not because they were they were bad people, but just because they needed basic staples for life and they didn't have the money in order to get them. Not all bad things are motivated by bad intentions. So what she did is she went and grabbed the two youths and paid for their deodorant so they wouldn't get in trouble, because the security guard was following them, and they would have been arrested for shoplifting had she not done that. So with that, I don't want you to assume that kids are aware of what they're doing, whether it be crossing the street or shoplifting. They're not fully aware of the ramifications because they might not have been taught that at home. So I want you to be that positive influence if you see it out in the world. If you see somebody doing something silly or doing something that doesn't quite make sense, pull them to a side and come from a place of care and concern, not condemnation. Just say, hey, I'm worried about you. I don't want to see you get hit by a car. Take the time out of your day to, if you see a young person doing something wrong, try to encourage them to do the right thing. In conclusion, again, I implore you to start actively pushing the change that you want to be or want to see in the world. I know it sounds cliche, but you can see the major change in social norms in just a short time from the last decade and a half, just from when Facebook was created back in 2004. That is only going to get faster and faster as these kids become adults and start raising kids on their own. So try to make a difference while we still can. Thank you.